Hello everyone, this is Azerate, and here I'd like to present to you a video that I've been meaning to create for some time now. Couldn't get to it. In the end, I decided to do it in a bit different way than I usually do. And here I actually asked the high-level community what these Diggy deadly sins are, or deadly sins of Diggy. Basically, what I mean by that are things that you should never do in the game because they slow your progress or they are generally bad. Okay? So here, the way we will go about this is I will be showing you which options won and discussing them just a little bit. This isn't a guide on all of these things, but rather a general video that is supposed to outline what you shouldn't do. The poll was made in a high-level community, so in a group for only high-level people, so hopefully they should know a bit more about the game and thus should be able to provide relevant options. Many of these, as you will see, I also agree with. Some of them I don't really agree with, and you will see why. I hope it will be informative. Okay, of course I won't be mentioning any names here because I haven't asked for any permissions or anything. This will be just anonymous with numbers. Okay, so let's go. One more thing. This is valid as of October or November 2017. Okay, so if you're watching this video in 2018 or 2019 or whatever, some of these things might already be invalid. Okay, but for now, most of them apply. Okay, so without further ado, let's scroll down and let's see what we have here. So, number one, this is that actually won, the thing that won, okay? 155 or 154 votes for that, and I wholeheartedly agree. As you can see, most people that are pretty well experienced with the game agree that playing mobile only is pretty much the worst thing you can do right now. Okay, that's pretty much the worst thing you can do in this game, mainly because of the gifts and neighbors. Right? There are also some other minor things like crowns, decorations, etc. Right? But the absence of neighbors on your mobile phone or on a tablet, wherever you play with the mobile app, right? It's simply such incredible loss. It's simply such incredible obstacle for you. If you are a strictly mobile player, you probably don't even realize how much you are losing, right? Let me just give you an estimate. You can probably multiply your energy income by about 20 or 30 times per day, okay? 20 or 30 times at lower levels, of course. As you go further, it stops being as important, but it still gives you a significant edge, okay? So don't confine yourself to the mobile app, please. That's the worst thing you can do, and this is unfortunately plaguing the game right now, because people are finding the game on the mobile markets, which is understandable, and there is nothing wrong with that, but please try to connect it to your PC. Try to play it at least a couple minutes every day on your PC to reap the benefits that you will get from there. Okay, let's move on. Then we have energy food. Here we have 120 something votes. So this is number 2, and again 100% agree. Buying energy food is something you should never be doing in the game. Never ever, no matter what, no matter how good it seems, okay? It's never good. You have to realize that. You should always spend your gems on energy, on energy items, okay? On regeneration items or capacity items, on old stories. Pretty much everything else in the game is always a better purchase than energy food, Okay, never do that, please. Never. Yeah, I cannot stress this enough. Now the third thing, here, not switching items when you leave your game for a longer time, no matter whether it's via switch system or manually. Again, here many people are not aware of that. You don't really need the switch system to switch items. Okay, if you don't have switch system, you still switch items, but manually. This is of paramount importance. Okay, whenever you go to sleep, you need to put more capacity in your camp so that you can simply get more energy when you come back. Okay, this is vital, and this is explained in one of my other videos, so please go and check that if you are not sure what I'm talking about here. Okay, professor switch system, item switching, difference between regeneration and capacity, these are the key to your progress in this game. Okay, these are the absolute most important things. Now we have a couple of these gift related things. So here, as you can see, we have 110 people for not sending a gift at all. We have 84 or 80 something for believing that a gift is a gift, which I will expand upon in a second, and 74 for sending coins as a gift. Okay, with which I partially agree, not completely. That's why I haven't voted here, as you can see. Okay, so what's the deal with gifts? Of course, not sending a gift at all is the worst thing ever. Okay, it's the worst thing you can do. Adding neighbors, playing the game, and not sending the gifts makes you a leech. Okay, you are a leech if you are doing that. Sending a gift takes 5 seconds. Sending gifts to all of your friends takes about 5 seconds. Just one click, everyone is happy. That's why we are adding each other. Okay, that's the reason. So I think this doesn't require additional explanation, right? Now the second one. So this here refers to a very frequent misconception about the gifting system. Okay, people often use this magical phrase, "a gift is a gift," that is supposed to excuse sending weaker gifts. Right? And again, let me stress this very strongly. I never insult anyone because of a bad gift. I don't attack them in any way. My approach is to educate rather than persecute or whatever. Okay? But still, there are certainly better gifts and worse gifts in the game. Okay? And a magical phrase, "a gift is a gift," doesn't really solve anything. Okay, if someone sends bad gifts, because there are bad gifts, objectively bad, if someone does that, then they should be educated as to which gifts are better. As simple as that. Yeah, as simple as that. So here, it's not about just accepting something, or the sort of the extension of this proverb. You could say a gift is a gift is you should be happy you got anything at all. No, we add each other to send these gifts. Okay, it's not my old grandma giving me a sweater for Christmas that I should be happy about. No, we are adding people whom we do not know to get gifts in the game. So a gift is just a name for a system of mutual benefit. Okay, that's what is meant by this. So no, a gift is not a gift. Okay, please remember about that. Now, coins are currently the worst by far, by a lot. Coins are the worst gift option, and there is a lot of people who get angry when they get told that this is a bad gift, they don't understand it, or they don't want to. And understandably, many people are very frustrated by this. Okay, there are actually people who send coins on purpose, even while knowing that these are bad gifts. Okay, so sending coins as a gift is also a big no-no. Okay, Again, I'm not insulting you. If you are doing that, if you are sending coins, okay, if you are still doing that, fine, you didn't know, okay, you were not aware why they are bad. And again, here I won't be getting into long explanations why. It's all discussed on DiggyWiki, for example, in my other videos. Yeah, but sending coins as a gift, you are not really helping anyone like that. Okay, so another thing that should be avoided. Okay, so moving on, we have. I guess we can put these two together somehow. Not adding neighbors. Okay, not adding neighbors. Definitely one of the critical mistakes people do. This is mostly connected to the mobile version, because of course there are no neighbors on the mobile version at all. So very often people play on this mobile version without neighbors, which is critically hampers their progress. And sometimes even after coming to PC already, these people are somehow stuck on this idea that adding neighbors isn't something for them. Okay, here there are also privacy issues, and you know, I understand them. Okay, I understand privacy issues because I've had a lot of them in the past. But the thing is, and again, people very often are not aware of that, you can very clearly separate your game neighbors from your real life Facebook friends. Okay, Facebook allows you to do that. This is all explained on the DiggyWiki. Yet again, I'm mentioning this page. It's a knowledge base, a big knowledge base about Diggy, so you can go there for everything, right? And there you will also find explanation as to how sort your neighbors, how to hide content from them. For example, myself, I am only posting things that I want my neighbors to see, specifically for them. Okay, so if I post something to my family, no one from the gaming community will know, no one will see, right? And it's easy to set up. You just need to want to learn how. Okay, now this next option here with 64 votes, when collecting GC, clicking the X instead of send. Now, the reason I haven't really voted for that is because I don't really believe this happens too much. Okay, this is well, if it did, okay, let's assume that it really happens, then yes, that's a pretty annoying thing someone would do. Okay, if someone really is doing that, well, they are an asshole. They are assholes, pretty much. Yeah. But I don't really believe that this is happening on a wide scale, so to say, right? And just to explain to people who don't understand what this means, when you collect godchildren in your neighbor's camp, you can click send or X out of the window. Clicking send sends the energy, and clicking X sends jack shit to the person. Yeah. So basically, it doesn't cost you anything, right, to click send, but still, I guess some people prefer to click X, not to send the energy. Again, I don't believe this is a problem. Next up, we have waiting to collect GCs when your energy is all the way full, thinking you will somehow get more. Yes, so very often people leave their godchildren to collect them in the morning, so they can stack this night mode energy, right? The energy collected from the night with the GC to get more energy to dig longer. Okay, and while it does let you dig or play for a longer time without stopping, at the same time you are not regenerating energy. All that time you are collecting godchildren while having full bar of energy. You are losing, basically. You are losing energy at the time. Okay, so don't do that. First spend your night mode energy, then go into the day mode, and then start collecting godchildren. The ideal way of playing is to never let your bar cap, okay? Never let it go full. Because when it goes full, it stops regenerating, and this should never happen. This should never be allowed by us as players, okay? What do we have next? Yes, now with 46 votes, we have deliberately putting off advancing to the next region just because you're afraid the segmented events will become harder. Now, this is something entirely new because, of course, the segmented events are here now and they are the current reality and probably the future also. And as such, people have started getting wrong ideas about this too, okay? You can get wrong ideas about everything, and segmented events are not an exception to that. So yes, if you advance to the next region, you will have a harder time in the next event. But is that a reason to put off this advancing to the next region? No, definitely not. Okay, first of all, regions are the main plot of this game. They are what constitutes Diggy's Adventure. They are the main thing, the main dish, the core. Okay, events are just, you know, side quests, temporary quests that you may do as distraction. Okay, so you shouldn't base your gameplay, your main gameplay, around a distraction. Does it make sense? I think it does. Also, another thing, yes, indeed, the event will be harder once you advance to the next region, but also it will be a lot more rewarding. Okay, a lot more rewarding. So even though it will be harder, for both of these reasons, it's worth advancing as soon as possible, probably. As soon as you can. And also, this is probably another argument for the rushing approach. Yeah. Okay. Next up, we have two things about this Diggy chat. Okay. Here, in case you aren't aware, because not everyone is able to access it, there is this official live chat for Diggy's Adventure on Facebook. Okay, and these two apply to this chat. Okay, so almost the same number of people, 35 people for each. So again, this is actually a bit subjective. Okay, I admit that it's a bit subjective. Some people may have better experience with the chat, some may have worse. Myself, ever since it was introduced, I didn't really agree with the idea of the chat. Okay, my problem with the chat is that it's not moderated in any way except for people blocking each other. And I just don't think that this is the correct way to create a channel of communication for people. I just don't, especially if it's global, if it's public, if there are hundreds of people there. It just doesn't work out. You can have lots of people coming, spreading bullshit, and we've had such cases. Okay, people spreading misinformation via the chat, people spreading unconfirmed gossip, okay, or simply downright rude rubes, insulting each other in the chat or insulting others in the chat. Now, yes, you may always block these people, and let's say that you may have a pretty good time there until another idiot like that comes along. Okay, so it's your choice in the end, but from my experience, the chat is the cesspool. Okay, you will be misinformed. You will hear gossip that has nothing to do with reality. You will come across people insulting everyone, acting like idiots in general. Okay, so no, certainly I would personally recommend not going there. If you feel a different way, it's up to you. Okay, if you had better experience with the chat, you may write down in the comments, or maybe tell me something that will make me change my mind. But yeah. And here we have participating in the fiasco, that is the Diggy chat, right? That's the option that I voted for. And then there's the other option, being mean to other players in the chat. Okay, so I agree that this shouldn't be done, but if you're not there, you can't be mean to anyone there. So I would go for the first option, right? Or the higher option with the chat. Yeah, you shouldn't be mean, right? That's quite clear. Okay, so these are now we get to options that are less popular. Okay, but still some of them will be relevant, some of them will be less relevant, which I will hopefully make clear as we go. Okay, so first we have not sending tin. And yes, that's definitely something that you should avoid. On a tin day, you should send tin, probably. But I don't believe that this is a very bad thing. There are other options that are fine on a tin day. I can't remember from the top of my head whether coins are also available on that day. I think yes. So definitely don't send coins, but tin and some other materials should be fine. Okay, equally fine. But still, I understand why people voted for that, and certainly sending tin would be good. Now, next option, seeing a camp full of decorations. Yes, so here, of course, this was an open poll, so people were able to add their options. And here, clearly, someone had some issues with phrasing, but the point is that you shouldn't put lots of decorations to your camp, especially big ones. And again, this is true to some extent, but people often overestimate that. Okay, I've seen only a handful of camps really that had so many decorations that they basically froze my PC. Okay, so keep that in mind, but don't go sort of overboard in the other direction, right? You can put some decorations and nothing will happen, but you know, everything's good in moderation. Yeah. Now, cooking shiitake, or however it's pronounced. I think shiitake. Yeah. So here we have 25 votes, myself included. So here again, this might not be readily understandable why this is a bad thing, right? Shiitake mushrooms are this ingredient from China. The reason is that the food which is made from shiitake mushrooms is multiple times worse than spending shiitake on crowns, on the decorations, okay, to gain experience. It's literally like 7 times better to purchase a crown with shiitake mushrooms than to cook it. Okay, never ever cook shiitake mushrooms. Never ever. Okay? Okay, moving on. So now we have, yes, this one is quite funny actually. It's not an in-game thing, it's not, you know, a very, maybe something that will harm you, but it's incredible stupidity, okay? And again, I'm not trying to insult anyone, I don't want to, but seriously, when I see people who don't understand that when we say, or when we write, rather, because most of the communication in the community is done on Facebook groups, when people don't understand that the acronym DA refers to the game itself, right? DA, Diggy Adventure, okay? How hard can it be? Come on. And unfortunately, since the release of the DAF tool, okay, DAF, which stands for Diggy Adventure Friends tool, right? Many people either started referring themselves to this tool by DA, so they write DA and they actually mean DAF, okay? Or when someone else who refers to the game with the acronym DA, which should be easily understandable. I mean, come on, Diggy Adventure. How hard is it to conclude that the acronym DA is the acronym for this name? So when people who mean the game use the acronym DA, yeah, very often they are understood as talking about the DAF tool, which creates sometimes massive confusion, massive misunderstandings, and some really inexplicably stupid situations. Okay, many of you here who are watching this video, I'm sure, have been playing this game for years. Okay, I have been playing this game for years. You have been playing this game for years. All of us, many of us, not all of us. So please, make a connection in your brain that Diggy Adventure can be shortened to DA, and it's not the same as DAF2. Okay, please. Now, the next point is sort of an inside joke here, so there's no real use to discuss that. It's about one of the high-level players who has good information about future updates, so to say. Okay, later we have with 22 votes, or yeah, 22 votes, not getting extra goodies such as Golem, one-click children, Holland system, rotor enhancers, and the Professor Switch system. So here, these are all these useful extras together, and yes, I fully agree. All of these should be acquired within the first month of the game, tops. Okay, within the first month of your playthrough, of your gameplay of Diggy Adventure, all of them. Okay. Also, another common misconception is that these cost gems. No. All of them except for Professor Switch system are also available for the free materials. They have this additional gem option which you shouldn't use, of course. You should save your gems for something gem only. Okay? Now, then we have clearing instead of rushing. And this is another really large topic that I could speak for hours about. I've written many posts and a long document outlining all the reasons why you should not clear the locations as you go, because that actually hampers your progress. Okay, and there are so many benefits now to the so-called rushing that it's simply not worth it to clear anymore. Rushing refers to just completing the quest as soon as possible with the lowest number of tiles possible. So basically you should move through regions as fast as possible, ideally. Your goal should be to reach Atlantis, Greece, whichever next region or whichever the newest region is. Okay? Clearing instead of rushing, this is the currently best approach to playing the game. Hands down, objectively. Again, this is not an opinion, okay? Please don't confuse it for an opinion. This is based on facts. Again, I won't be outlining all of them here. I will include a link in the description maybe to all these sources so you could check them out. Next we have another iteration of gift rant, you could say, with which I don't really agree, but still there is some validity in this point. Okay, cheap, as it says here, crappy windmills aren't the best gift ever. Still, it might be understandable to send them. They still can be used as windmills, so that's okay. But yeah, rather it should be avoided. But I wouldn't call it the worst thing ever. Yeah. Yeah, adding an unnecessary option in a poll. Yes, that's definitely, this is definitely something that shouldn't be done, and we are getting to these shit options in a second, so you will see what is meant by this line here. And the last one that I actually voted for here having spaces cleared in camp but not putting any equipment there. Okay, so this game is basically base building game, which many people seem to completely miss the point of. So yes, you go to mines, you clear the locations, but in order to do that, and in order to be able to do that efficiently, you should build your camp properly. You shouldn't, and if you want to progress fast, you cannot just leave empty spaces in your camp. Okay, put anything out. That's the first step, and then think what you can do to improve it. Okay, no empty spaces in the camp, please. Okay, you will help yourself. You will progress faster. You will feel happier because you will actually be getting somewhere instead of crying that everything costs too much energy. Okay. Yes, and now we have some more options, which I will still read to you. I don't really agree with most of them. Many of them are pretty much mistakes. Someone didn't understand what the poll was about, etc. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, so the next option here is buy eel crowns. 15 people voted, and yes, technically you shouldn't do that. The reason is that in Greece or in Atlantis there is a dish that uses eels that is better than converting them to crowns. That is true. However, before you get to Greece or Atlantis, you have to do something with these eels, and buying crowns is one possible option. Okay, so I agree to a point on paper, right? But again, we cannot really tell new players to wait for a year before they use a material. Okay, that's not how it works. That's not how it should work, in my opinion. Next, we have synchronization issues. Now, I have no idea why this is added here, because it's not something that you can do on purpose. This is something that happens to people sometimes, and then they have to fix it. But it's not really something that you can do, which is the worst thing to do. Then we have not using the DAF tool. And again, to some extent this is true, because it's such a great tool, it's such a great help for the game. But still, you can of course play perfectly fine without it. You can even check activity of your neighbors without it, though I'm at loss as to why you would want to do that. Because checking activity with the DAF is piss easy. It takes no time at all. And the classic method of checking activity actually takes more time. Okay, I'm not saying a lot of time, but more time. So yeah, you should probably get the DAF tool. It's free, it's helpful. But is it something that the worst thing you can do ever? Probably not. Not in my opinion, at least. Yeah, forgetting to switch the PSS to night mode. So again, this happens to all of us. Okay, we all forget. It's not really something we do intentionally, which was my question here. Okay, so the idea is to prevent people from doing bad stuff. And you can't really prevent forgetting, because if you could, we wouldn't be forgetting anything. Having only 5 windmills. Now, is this bad? Yes, if you are higher level. Okay, if you are, let's say, up to level 80 maybe, then it's still fine. Okay, as long as you don't go above level 100 with 5 windmills maximum, then it's okay. So I couldn't really agree that this is one of the worst things you can do. Waste materials to create several times the same useless equipments. So here someone was thinking very hard to come up with something original. That's how I see it. Of course, this is buying the same equipment that is useless is quite bad, but I don't see a reason why anyone would do that. Yeah, I don't really know what the hell is this option here, but yeah. Not playing. Yeah, not playing is one of the worst things that may cause a lack of progress. That's true, in a way. Again, not really what the question was about. Kind of a joke, I guess. No forge at 4 hours. I have no idea. I have no idea what is meant by this. I think that maybe someone thought that this poll is about things that they don't like in this game or something. So there is no forge at 4 hours, of course, but it's not something that you can do or cannot do on your own. Okay, it's not something that you may opt to do, which is wrong. Okay, so this is an answer that is not relevant to the question. Now this is really fab, yeah. Rushing instead of clearing. So this is the other way around. Okay, you should be rushing. So this is the good way. So people who voted for this, even though this is a high-level community, are most probably not very knowledgeable. Okay, without putting it in a more blunt way, which happens. The high level doesn't guarantee knowledge about the game, by no means. It somehow raises the possibility that someone knows a lot about the game, but it doesn't guarantee it by no means, as you can see right here. Then we have no caravans for 4 hours. Again, same thing as no forge at 4 hours. I have no idea what this has to do with the topic. Here we have something that is very interesting indeed, and it's hard not to agree because on objective grounds this is true, but I wouldn't agree that this is something that is the worst thing to do, and I myself am guilty of not doing this. Okay, switching your equipment or your outfit to golden shovel and coin shoes when opening treasure chests will give you more coins, okay, but it will also extend the time of opening every chest you encounter in the game by like 20 seconds, which is a major pain in the ass. Okay, so yeah, the person is definitely right. It's true that you should be technically doing that, but in reality no one is, even the highest level players. Certainly I am not doing that. Okay, so don't feel bad if you're not doing that too. And of course the last one here that is voted for by one person, not having fun playing. Again, this is a roundabout answer. Of course we all have fun playing. Yeah, so if you don't have fun, just quit the game. Okay, that wasn't the question. But still, someone had to be a wise ass and, add something like that. That's the nature of the community. Okay, so these are all these things that are considered pretty bad in the eyes of the high-level community of this game. Just to reiterate, the three worst things you should never do. Okay, playing mobile only, never ever. Buying energy food, never ever. Not using the switch system or not switching items manually, the worst thing ever. And of course we could add these gifts. If you have neighbors, and you should have neighbors, send gifts to them. Okay, you will all benefit from that. Okay, so this is it. I hope you found this video interesting and maybe you learned something new. If you are unsure about anything I've spoken about here, feel free to ask in the comments below, and I'll be seeing you next time in a future video. Bye.